welcome into another edition of Monday Night Sports Talk here on the AirNetwork.net. We do it every Monday night at 7 o'clock. Unfortunately, tonight is our final program of the season, and we'll revisit it again in September. So, you know how it is, like the school year. Tonight will be a lot of fun because we'll be joined by Jeff Speck, who is actually on the road tonight using his, we'll ask him what he's using to talk to us. Also, Jimmy Ty live from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, as we get things started here on a Monday night. I am Greg Banks in the studio. You want to join us? Call us up, 814-619-4286, 814-619-4286. Jeff, you had mentioned you're on the road somewhere tonight. Where are you coming from?
On the road, just left the Bellwood Invitational track meet, and 600 some student athletes there participating this afternoon. And if you're in the neighborhood, you can probably stop by because they're probably going to be pole vaulting and running and jumping probably till 8, 9, 10 o'clock. And they were just getting into the boys pole vaulting whenever we were leaving. So. Yeah, they got some distance to go yet.
Well, Jeff, you're always a busy man as it goes. Jimmy Ty, you've been busy over the weekend with your daughter Lucy. You mentioned you went to the circus. Where was that at?
The Johnstown Cambria County War Memorial, Greg.
Oh, okay. Was it like the Ringling, Barnum, and Bailey circus with the elephants and all that?
No, it was called Garden Brothers.
Okay, I remember taking my kids to that years ago, too. That was always fun. They had the dogs running around inside the ring. They had the horses, and I do believe they still continue to have elephants, don't they?
This one didn't have any elephants. This
Okay.
had, in fact, Lucy got to ride a camel, so that was pretty cool. But
oh, man.
No elephants. It was like it was a lot of stunts and things like that. So it was really fun for my daughter to watch.
Well, you know, those are always good experiences, and as my children still talk about when we used to take them to the circus, they love to watch the animals poop. So, I'm serious.
I was a guest ringmaster at the circus in Huntington, and I got to introduce the world's only non-striped zebra. It was a damn horse.
Oh, yeah. Hey, those guys, man, they can't. But, you know, to a kid, you tell him that, he's believing that horse is a non-striped zebra, right? So.
Are you serious? They have that?
Oh, yeah, and you end up ruining. Well, there is no such thing as a non-striped zebra, Jimmy. It's actually a horse.
Oh.
But in case somebody didn't tell you, if they laid that on you when you were a kid, you'll remember that the rest of your life. Anyhow, let's get along with this circus here on Monday Night Sports Talk. Give us a call, 814-619-4286. Hey, guys, over the weekend, the Pirates swept the Diamondbacks in 5 games. They'll face the Cubs starting tomorrow. Jimmy, maybe we'll start with you. You see any weaknesses or some things that the Pirates have to do to really start tightening things up here as they head into Chicago tomorrow?
The bullpen. If you look at the game, the second game of the Diamondback series, Melancon almost blew it again. So I would say they have to tighten up their closer position right now.
Yeah.
I really don't think Mark Melancon is the guy to be closing the games out right now. There's other players like Tony Watson, like Hughes, even Lees, or. I can see them closing it out. I don't think Melancon right now. I think Melancon is struggling. He'll have his hot days, he'll have his cold days.
Yeah.
And as a closer, you do not have your cold days. You have to be on all the time to close these games out. So that's the one thing I would see.
Yeah, with Melancon, Jeff, it was sort of like, you know, normally we see him 3 and out, but he struggled there. I believe it was on Thursday or maybe it was on Wednesday of last week. He kind of got things straightened out on Saturday or Sunday. What do you see as weaknesses and strengths for the Pirates this season?
Well, as for me, I'm still just concerned. I'm just concerned about what's going on with the pitching rotation. That get that locked down, and I think that's going to be as it is with any baseball team.
Yeah,
that's going to be what it's all about, and it's the pitching, and they're looking good here at the moment. There definitely need some other people back in, get Melancon seems to be settling in now, and and people got all upset. Oh, he blew a game. Well, you know what? The guy's not going to have 20 saves on a consistent basis. Every once in a while, you're gonna blow one.
Yeah, he's going to have a bad night, as he obviously did the other night. But having said that, Liriano looked real sharp yesterday, Jimmy. He went in that 8-0 rout. It extended the team's winning streak to 5 games now. So you got Liriano. Tim Worley, by the way, going, I believe it is tomorrow night, if I'm not mistaken.
Vance Worley, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be Vance Worley. I'm sorry, Vance Worley going tomorrow night. and he's got a record of 2-1 on the season. So tell us a little bit about some of the strengths and weaknesses that you see with Chicago, who basically manhandled the Pirates first time around this season.
Well, right now the strength right now is their hitting. They've just brought up Addison Reed, their second baseman. They brought up Chris Bryant, the rookie phenom. The phenom, the next Bryce Harper. I'm going to call him.
Yeah.
Right now he is a stud, and I see that as a strength. Their weakness, in my opinion, is just like the Pirates' weakness is their bullpen. Pittsburgh can hit off of their bullpen.
Yeah.
And that's a big weakness. If you want to win Major League Baseball games, right now you gotta have a good bullpen.
Right. We got Jimmy.
That's what I say right now.
Okay, we have Jimmy Ty in Johnstown. Jeff Speck on his way back to Huntington from Bellwood Invitational Track Meet. So that's a little bit of the noise you hear in the background there. Jeff, I see where over the past 25 seasons, the only Pirates who have homered in both games of a doubleheader are Pedro Alvarez. He did that against the Rockies. And there was a guy named Rob Makovich back in, back in 2004. Did it against Chicago. What do you think about the home run production these days of the Pirates? You think it's pretty stealth?
No, I'm impressed, and you wanted Alvarez you wanted him to wake up, and he seems to be doing it. And, I think maybe these Pirates are going to be as good as billed and what people are expecting, and they seem to be pretty steady on. And that's one thing, Clint Hurdle.
Yeah.
Even if they get into a stretch where they may lose 4, 5, 6 in a row, Clint's not going to push the panic button, and the ship's going to be okay. It'll sail, and there's a lot of positives right now with the Pirates, and that, as Jimmy said, alluded to with the bullpen. That's the thing. Just need to shore that up, and maybe I don't know if there's anyone down AAA or anywhere like that might get an unexpected early call up. But I think if they lock that down, maybe they can. Maybe they can pull a Buster Olney.
Well, they seriously showed some offensive prowess yesterday, Jimmy. And having said that, the last Pirate to hit more than 2 home runs leading off in the first inning was Andrew McCutchen. Of course, Josh Harrison's done it twice so far this year. Are you surprised with Josh Harrison's production this year, Jimmy?
No, not at all. He's on that big contract. He's producing. He was an All-Star last year. He showed us why he was an All-Star last year. He's keeping up that pace. No, not at all.
Yeah. How do you like Starling Marte's performance thus far this year? What do you think about that, Jimmy?
He's doing good, but the thing about Starling Marte is he swings at bad pitches. When he connects with the baseball, he connects with the baseball, he connects, and he hits the ball. But he swings at too many bad pitches outside the strike zone. He has to be more disciplined within the strike zone. There was a shot yesterday where Jeff Bannister was talking to him about, hey, watch that a curveball or split or whatever it was. Don't swing outside the strike zone, and that's what Marte does. He swings too much outside that strike zone.
Yeah.
But if he can be more disciplined, then he can be an all-star this year for Pittsburgh.
Well, hopefully that's something he's working on, Jeff. Hey, meanwhile, you guys, let me ask you this first, Jeff. Over the weekend, we had a situation with the Kansas City Royals and Edison Volquez, who used to be with the Pirates, dropping his appeal of a 5-game suspension because these guys were in a brawl. Are you beginning to think Kansas City has a chip on their shoulder these days? I mean, because, man, everybody unloaded onto the field there as the Royals were playing Chicago White Sox. There obviously is something going on there. So what can you tell us about that brawl that occurred over the weekend?
Well, to me, that's just nuts. It's nice to have a chip on your shoulder. I see that as a positive sometimes. But also, you're a dang professional. I don't care if you're a high school athlete.
Yeah.
You got to keep your head about you because now, you got suspensions being handed out. So who's that end up hurting? Your team. So to me, those actions are just stupid. It's nice to have some passion, but boy, that was just that was ugly. I mean, it looked like you went to a baseball game and a hockey match broke out.
Yeah, hey, Jimmy, 4 Royal players suspended for their action on Thursday night. Also, Ventura, the pitcher, I guess for the White Sox, given a 7-game penalty, in outfielder Lorenzo Cain and reliever Kelvin Herrera. Now, these are guys that should have been, most of them, staying on the bench. Do you think maybe management has lost control of their players? Or are some of these players from Kansas City sort of like Ned Yost? They're just kind of bold and brash? Or what is that?
That's just old and cranky.
Yeah. Well, last year they won the World. No, not one. I'm sorry. They
got to the World Series. Yeah,
they got to the World Series, right? And now Kansas City's like, well, since we've been in the World Series, we're the big boys of the American League. Don't mess with us.
Yeah. But you got to remember their record indicates that they're doing pretty good so far this season, man.
Yeah, they are. They're doing good. They're one of the better teams in Major League Baseball, and it does show on the field. But to play the game of baseball, you gotta play it the right way.
Yeah.
The guy for I think it was Adam Eaton hits the ball back to the Kansas City pitcher. I don't know what was said, but that brawl should have never happened in Kansas City. Or in Chicago. Never. Just because you hit the ball back, don't say anything. Just run the baseline.
Well, here's a sad thing. Even Jeff Schmarjo got out into this fray, and Chris Sales. I mean, some of these guys weren't even playing. Now they've been suspended for 5 games, Jeff. I guess they really, truly deserve it. But I know I just read where a Little League player made a mention that the big boys ought to grow up and play like we play in Little League, huh?
Well, have a little respect for the game. That's my a nice rainbow out in front of me. Excuse me. It's a double rainbow. I'm about to fall into a pot of gold, brother.
I hope you do, man, because I need some extra money, man.
I can loan it to you at a reasonable rate. Yeah, seriously. I mean, these people just need to get a grip. Like I say, it's one thing to have passion, but put it somewhere else. Put it to use up at the plate. Put it to use with other than this stupidity, because you're going to have a team that's just altered here for a handful of games.
Well, a lot of this, I understand, it spurs from something that might have happened even a season ago, and somebody who gave somebody a dirty look, and that seems to be happening in the major leagues quite a bit these days, Jimmy, where pitchers kind of get jacked up whenever, somebody throws, or maybe they skip up the line after a home run, or they take their good old time and they watch it go out, and then they flip the bat like Pui does. I mean, is that enough to get a pitcher upset? I mean, seriously.
Look at what happened last year with the Diamondbacks Pirates. I forget who it was, hit Alan Goldschmidt.
Yeah.
Paul Goldschmidt, I'm sorry. He hit Paul Goldschmidt by accident as a high pitch inside, broke his hand. The next time up for the Pirates, McCutchen comes up, and same deal. It's like retaliation.
Yeah.
And just because you hit a batter, you're throwing that ball so many times, so hard, that ball's going to slip out of your hand, and yes, you're going to get nicked. Don't worry about it. Don't retaliate it and hit somebody else.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff,
just play baseball.
Well, when that happens, Jeff, it looks like the umpires are coming straight out and cleaning this stuff up. You think they're reacting rather quickly to any of these offenses this year and maybe to come?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I'm sure baseball, and especially the new commissioner, he would just love to get through one season without some kind of screwball things, be it, drugs or getting juiced up or whatever, and, and this kind of thing. The umpires jump on it immediately, and I don't think we'll have any problem with the league standing behind them with them on their calls and on the suspensions the league hands out. Because, I don't want to see baseball taken over by just a bunch of thugs.
Right. It's Monday Night Sports Talk here on the AirNetwork.net. Greg Banks in the studio. Jimmy Ty live from Johnstown. Jeff Speckel on the road tonight, talking through. What we call that you're talking through, Jeff? Not your phone, but I guess it's connected to the what?
I don't know what it is.
Bluetooth.
It's Bluetooth. Okay, Bluetooth.
I pay my $45 a month and whatever.
Okay. All right, we were talking about the umpires. I'm watching the game last night, Jim, between the Yankees and the Mets. And Joe Girardi and Tony Pena saw something happen at first base, and they called the umpires out, and they kind of threw the red flag out there. You like those challenges like that during baseball?
I like them, but it could also slow down the game. They want to speed up the game of baseball.
Yeah, well,
doing something like that slows down the game of baseball.
Exactly. And I just wanted to get your feeling on that. Hey, meanwhile, Jeff, we're talking about people, pitchers throwing at hitters. Max Scherzer of the National will likely miss his next start for the Washington Nationals now. He's got a sprained thumb. And he says the National League would be better off not letting pitchers bat, and they need to have the designated hitter rule now. What do you think about that, Jeff? And then we'll ask Jimmy that.
Well, to me, throwing at a batter, that's just to me that's a part of the game, and I don't care if you wanted to call me a dirty coach or whatever. I actually had a call whenever I was over at the Teener League ranks coaching that. I had one game in particular where a kid was hit like 3 or 4 of my top batters and probably the top 3 or 4 batters in the league that year.
Yeah.
And it was without a doubt he was just throwing at them. So I told my pitcher, make sure you look over here for the call. It won't be on the first pitch or the second pitch, but look over here. And I gave the pitch, and it's kind of a crude mark that we definitely made an impression on the other team. And as far as I'm concerned, that's part of the game, and whether it's dirty or not, I'm maybe showing my age here, but we were raised up. Hey, you come after us, guess what?
Yeah,
someone's going to get some payback.
Retaliation, even in the Teener League. But let me ask you this question about Max Scherzer's note about pitchers who are now batting in the National League. He says it ought to stop immediately, that pitchers don't know how to bat in the first place. He says, quote, if you look at it from the macro side, who'd rather see Big Papi or watch me, he says. Jimmy, to which you say what? Should they eliminate the pitchers batting in the National League now? In other words, let Major League Baseball adopt the designated hitter rule in both leagues. Huh?
No, have pitchers hit. You're getting paid 60, 70 million bucks.
Yeah.
For to throw a baseball, and that's it. You got to go up and hit the ball too.
Well,
look at Kerry Wood.
Yeah, but in the American
League, he pitched, and he was a good hitter.
Okay, now in the American League, let's face it, they've had the designated hitter rule since I believe it was '79, Jeff. And the bottom line is those guys are paid rather handsomely to be DHs. You know what I mean? Big Papi gets paid a lot of money, and there are other players that get paid a lot of money. Why can't the National League adopt that same rule? Because like he says, I'm not interested in watching a pitcher hit a ball because most times they don't hit the ball at all.
Well, you see, here again, being a baseball purist, and this has been around long enough, maybe that's just part of the game now.
Yeah.
But I do not like I like having that pitcher spot there. To me, it adds a whole lot more to the game.
Okay.
Because you have to realize, do you have a pitcher out there that's doing a good job, and right now you need another bat out there? Are you going to remove that pitcher out of the game? To me, that just takes a lot of the strategy, takes a lot of the gamesmanship out of the game, and doesn't make the coaches work as hard. I'm not a big designated hitter fan. I like that pitching spot coming up there. Yeah. There's a lot more that comes into play when that pitching spot comes up, and you may have a chance in an inning, and 5th, 6th inning, I'm going to pull the guy and put someone in. I like it the way it was back in the day.
Okay, so Jimmy, you agree with Jeff on that note, and basically we're all saying that in the National League, just keep it the way it is, even though the American League's not going to change now. And the reality is, in many instances, and you got to agree with me, guys, that's an instant out when the pitcher's coming up to bat. In most instances, he's not going to lay the bat on the ball at all, so it's almost like an automatic out. But we'll think about that and talk about it further. It's Monday Night Sports Talk here on the AirNetwork.net, our final show of the 2015 season. We'll get back into it in September again when the sports season gets fired up again. However, if you want to join us tonight, call us 814-619-4286 is the number. 814-619-4286. Jimmy Ty live in Johnstown. Jeff Speck on the road, hopefully getting closer to Huntington now. Hey, having said that about baseball, Jimmy, here's another thing I noted. We talked a little bit about A-Rod last week. Now, Alex Rodriguez admitted he noticed the crowd kind of anticipating his 660th home run in his final 3 at-bats yesterday in New York against the Mets. He's now at 659, soon to tie Willie Mays his next home run to become the fourth in place for home runs. Do you agree that A-Rod should get paid? Maybe his bonus from the Yankees. Jeff, we'll ask Jeff that first because it sounds like he's a little busy. Jeff, do you think A-Rod should get paid his $6 million bonus if he hits, 660 home runs or 700 home runs?
Yeah. Hey, signed the contract, didn't they? Pay the man.
Okay, I mean, it's a simple marketing agreement because the Yankees signed him to that bonus and said, well, then we can market it, and then the PED thing hit the fan, Jimmy. So do you think the Yankees I don't think they're going to pay him, but do you think they should pay him?
Well, I don't think they should pay him, and my own opinion is he got most of them home runs off of PED. If you're going to pay a guy, have him in home runs being clean with no PEDs.
Right.
And he admitted he was all PEDs. So, no, I don't think the Yankees should pay him. I think every home run that he hits should have a little asterisk next to it.
Oh, I agree with the asterisk thing. We talked about that before, but my feeling is...
No. They should not pay him at all, no.
Yeah, and that's my feeling, too, because here again... A-Rod signed that contract knowing damn well he was taking PEDs. The Yankees looked at it like, hey, if you reach 700 homers, you'll get this $6 million. Because it's a great marketing coup, obviously, for the Yankees. But how are they going to market that? That we're going to pay this guy,
I'll tell you what they should do. If I was the manager of the Yankees right now.
Well, remember, it's got to be the GM of the Yankees, not the manager's not paying him.
Well, if I was running the Yankees and I knew A-Rod was going to get up to 700 home runs,
I'd yank him.
I would bench him.
Would you? Okay.
Bench him.
Well, you know what? The Yankees, and let's not say that the Yankee organization is so naive that they didn't know he was juiced up too. Come on.
Oh, that's true. That's true. And it's sort of like
I would bet him at 699.
Yeah. Hey, do you think for a minute that they thought that Mark McGwire and what was the other guy's name out at Oakland?
Sosa.
Yeah, or not? I mean Sammy Sosa, but I'm talking about McGuire's teammate from the Oakland. Jose. You don't think they knew he was all jacked up on something? They encouraged it. They just didn't say anything about it. You know what I mean? So I know that's another argument for perhaps another day. Let me finalize the baseball talk tonight, guys. Jeff, I want to ask you real quick, and then I want to ask Jimmy. Josh Hamilton just traded back to the Texas Rangers. Is that a risky move for the Rangers now to bring him back and hopefully get him cleaned up or whatever the case might be? Do you think that's going to change his mentality? Because he's really struggling right now, and he is a risky player to have. So what do you think about that trade that just came down this afternoon, Jeff?
I don't know. The guy, I probably, there's a contract I probably wouldn't have signed. I probably would not have brought him back. I just, boy.
Well, they were the team that got him cleaned in the first place, obviously, and then he got traded. And they're sort of like anointed as his savior, although he's going through a divorce now. I mean, he's really recovering drug addict. He's having some major problems. Jimmy, what do you think about that trade, huh?
I think it was a good trade for him, for Josh Hamilton. That's where he became a star.
Do you think that's
drafted by Tampa Bay? I think it was good because now he's going to have his mentor back there in Texas.
Yeah.
His life was in Texas. Everything revolved around Josh Hamilton in Texas. So I think it's a good deal for him to go back to the Rangers and not in Anaheim anymore.
So you think at this point this is going to be something that will save his career as we move forward then?
He needs baseball more than anything right now. Without baseball, he'll be messed up. He needs baseball, and this is the best thing for Josh Hamilton.
Well, would you
to play for the Rangers?
Would you agree? Would you agree then, Jeff? This is actually his last chance then.
Oh yeah, it's his last chance. I mean, I don't want to take anything away. Hats off to the team for giving him the opportunity and the chance. I just, I don't know if I like the baggage. You're looking at it from a business management point of view, but hey, wish the guy luck, and they pulled the magic once. Hopefully, they can do it again. Personally and professionally.
Yeah, I'm really hoping for the best for Josh Hamilton down in Texas as they have now traded for him, gotten him out of California and the Angels. We'll tell you more about that and some other stuff, by the way, coming up tonight here on Monday Night Sports Talk. As we mentioned, this will be our final edition for this season. We'll do it again starting in September. It's sort of like the school year. School is almost out. So give us a call, 814-619-4286. That's the number to call, 814-619-4286. Hey, coming up, we'll talk with Jimmy Ty and Jeff Speck about, the Steelers and perhaps who they might be drafting in the first round. How about them Penguins? They're playing golf this afternoon. And guess what? Well, I can't tell you. You got to keep guessing. We'll be back with more Monday Night Sports Talk in just a moment. Need printing services done with quality, on time, and at a reasonable price? Then stop by Images Print Shop in downtown Huntington, where they can help you design and print brochures, business forms, business cards, newsletters, flyers, and so much more. Images Print Shop is your hometown print shop and web hosting service dedicated to excellent and quality service at affordable prices. See what Images Print Shop can do for you online at imagesprintshop.com or call us weekdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 643-1796.
Kick off your appetite with great food from Original Italian Pizza in downtown Huntington, where Bearcat fans huddle up before and after the big game. OIP in downtown Huntington provides your taste buds with appetizers, dinners, pizzas, subs, and so much more. Stop by OIP in downtown Huntington for a sandwich, meal, and cold drinks 7 days a week, or call ahead for takeouts at 643-0665 or 643-0666. OIP in downtown Huntington with the best food and the lowest prices in town.
Hey Frank, some of us are going out for lunch. Want to join?
No thanks. I won't be able to make it for a while. My son's heading to a 4-year university this fall, and I'm watching every penny I can to help him with tuition.
Yeah, that can be so expensive. My daughter decided to go to Pennsylvania Highlands Community College. She'll earn her associate degree in 2 years before transferring to earn her bachelor's. I'll be able to save thousands by her attending Penn Highlands first.
Pennsylvania Highlands, really? My son is stuck on attending a 4-year university right away, far from home.
My daughter was the same until I explained to her that she'd end up with the same degree and far less debt. I don't want to see her starting out her adult life with a lot of debt. Penn Highlands just made the most sense. So, enjoy lunch.
Hey, wait for me.
I thought you couldn't afford to eat out.
That was before you mentioned Penn Highlands. How do I find out how to get my son enrolled?
I'll fill you in over lunch, but start by visiting Pennsylvania Highlands online at pennhighlands.edu.
The Burns Law Firm is an experienced law firm located at 104 South Center Street in Evansburg, just steps away from the Cambria County Courthouse. Attorney Tim Burns and his staff will provide you with professional expertise in DUI, family law, personal injury claims, plus other areas of law at reasonable rates and fees. Contact Attorney Tim Burns for a consultation by calling 814-471-1701 or online at www.attytimburns.com for more information.
It's Monday Night Sports Talk on the Air Network.net. Greg Banks in the studio. Jimmy Ty live from Johnstown. And just in a few moments, he'll jack up his Skype, or actually crank it up, I should say. And out of his car, Jeff Speck is rejoining us here on the Monday Night Edition. Give us a call if you'd like to talk some sports. We'll talk about the Steelers, Penguins, Hockeyville, USA, Cleveland Cavaliers, and more in the next 40 minutes or so. 814-619-4286 is the number to call. That's 814-619-4286, the number that you can call us on to talk with Jimmy Ty and yours truly, Greg Banks, right now awaiting the return of Jeff Speck. Speaking of the return, Jimmy, I see where Antonio Brown attended the workout today in Pittsburgh, despite his previous comments about not showing up because of the money. We may have misconstrued this, but because I understand he also had a baby about a week ago, or maybe a week and a half ago, and that was another reason he was not in camp. Do you have any other details on Antonio Brown and whether or not you think he'll just stick around and do this training now?
He'll do the training. Maybe his mom is just basically focusing on his birth of his child. I did see on Facebook that he did have a baby, and I didn't realize nobody knew that he was having a child.
No, not until he announced it.
But I think it's good. I think he's going to be now mentally ready. He's going to be ready for training camp. He's going to be ready for the offseason program. He wants to be there for Pittsburgh, so I can see it right now. Him focusing right now.
And do you think he's smart enough to understand that he's still in the middle of his contract, and that he probably, even though he was the 14th highest paid receiver in the NFL, he signed that 5-year extension to his rookie contract back in 2012. It was worth about $42 million, so it might be a little early, to ask for more money just yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like if you look at his career record right now from 2010 to 2014.
Yeah.
He has a total of 5,259 yards and 28 touchdowns. That's pretty good.
Oh, that's considerable. Yeah, that's
considerable.
Yeah.
So, the Rudy should pay Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Because he is producing. It's not like he's not producing, but he should also play out his contract and maybe try to get a max deal whenever his contract's over. Because if you look at these numbers that he's having, just think about what he's going to have this year coming up.
Right.
When his contract is over, he should try to get a max deal.
Hey, Jeff, Jeff Speck back on the line, aren't you, Jeff? Jeff Speck trying to get back online with us here on the Monday Night Sports Talk. We're talking about Steelers receiver Antonio Brown attending workouts despite his previous comments, and we found out that the reason he wasn't in camp, obviously, was because he had a baby. So having said that, let's add Dave Shannon to our conversation here. He's now coming on here on Monday Night Sports Talk. Dave Shannon, welcome to Monday Night Sports Talk, our final edition for this season.
Hey.
How you doing, buddy?
All right, good to be with you guys.
I'm glad that you're with us, man. We were just talking about Antonio Brown and the Steelers. He did show up for the workouts, even though he said a couple weeks ago that he wouldn't. Actually, it was rumored that he wouldn't show up because of a contract dispute, but things seem to be clear now. Hey, meanwhile, Jeff Speck is standing by. He's on Skype tonight. Jimmy Ty, you still with us?
Oh, yeah. I'm here, buddy.
Let me ask you guys.
Jimmy.
Hey.
Let me ask you this real quick then, Jimmy, and then we'll go to Dave. We know that the Steelers will get the 22nd pick in the first round of the draft coming up. When's that begin? Thursday and Friday throughout the weekend. It seems to be that they're looking at Trey Waynes, who is a cornerback from Michigan State. Obviously, let me ask you, Jimmy, and then they do need a cornerback. I mean, obviously, and this guy seems to be coming highly touted. What do you think about maybe that move?
They do need a cornerback.
Yeah.
They had success with players from Michigan State. Le'Veon Bell's name one. But I'm going to stick to the guy I picked last week. Landon Collins from Alabama. I think that guy can be a monster. I think he can be the next Troy Polamalu if Pittsburgh can draft him. He can hit hard. He's a tough player. He flies around the field, and that's what Pittsburgh needs.
Yeah, there's speculation.
Landon Collins. That's my pick. If Pittsburgh doesn't pick him, and if Landon Collins is still there and Pittsburgh doesn't pick him, I'll be very shocked. That's who I think Pittsburgh should pick right there.
Well, right now it looks like Trey Waynes, who basically was supposed to go number 11, but his stock kind of went down, Dave. Are there any names that you're seeing, or are there any needs that you think the Steelers have prior to a cornerback, even though most people agree they need a cornerback next year?
No, not really. I mean, they've been stocking up on a number of different positions here over the past couple of drafts, whether it be offensive line, defensive line, linebackers. So it's time to take care of that particular area of the football field because I think, as we all know, that is where you're ending up winning and losing games in the current NFL game.
Right.
Is whether those corners are able to cover and able to create some turnovers. Big interceptions, like when a team in the big game goes for it on first or down and throws it from the 2-yard line.
Yeah.
And you got some good backers back there. It's just, I mean, that's where the game is won and lost because passing is such a big part of the game. You can have a good running game. You can't rely solely on it. And look at the numbers Ben Roethlisberger has been able to put up over the past couple of seasons. Just amazing.
Well, I don't think
even with the crop of backs that are out there, corners and safety.
Yeah, I don't think they really have a need for a lot of offensive weapons, although we're sure they're going to pick a few. Jeff Speck's back on the line with us. Jeff, we're talking about the Steelers and the upcoming draft. Trey Waynes out of Michigan State, cornerback, seems to be probably their number one pick. They get to pick number 22nd this year. Waynes actually has the skills to be picked 11th in that draft. Are there any other needs you see in that secondary that they're going to need on defense, Jeff? And I see Jeff is on there, but I can't hear him, so we'll go.
One thing I would say, another player that Pittsburgh could look at is Byron Jones from Connecticut, from the ACC.
Okay.
He's projected either a first or second round pick, late first, early second round pick. Byron Jones from Connecticut. Mm-hmm. He missed the final 5 games this last season with a shoulder surgery.
Right.
But he is an upside to really bring the boom to that position, to a quarterback position, because you also have to look. They also lost Ike Taylor.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I know we all picked on Ike Taylor this year on this show, and people made fun of him, whatever.
Yeah.
But during his early years, Ike Taylor was the man.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's one player I can look at right there is Byron Jones from Connecticut.
Well, obviously, Dave, the Steelers are going to have to do a lot of reloading on that secondary. Anyhow, Polamalu, Ike Taylor, Kissel's gone. Harrison stays in camp, and there are a couple other guys that they've lost along the way. So we'll be kind of interested in seeing what happens with the Steelers. Offensively, is there anything that you think, Dave, they really need to kind of like to bolster?
I think they need to really look at the tight end position. Just because of the age of both Spaeth and Heath Miller.
Yeah.
Those are your 2 stalwart tight ends for the team and have been that for a while now. And I think they're both all of them. It's tough to talk against Heath Miller, but I don't know how many years he has left, to be honest with you. It's a grueling part of the game. A lot of your game ends up being blocking. Sometimes, though, with the Steelers, they don't have receivers open deep, and that tight end is such a big part of the Steelers' game, depending on if the opposition's defense. So I think tight end is an area they need to start looking at.
Well, you got to understand also a lot of those guys came in about the same time Ben did. So, I mean, age is really going to play a factor. Jeff, I don't know if you can hear us, but we're going to throw this out at you. Again, one more time, do you have any needs there on the offense or defense that you see the Steelers picking up this coming weekend in the draft? Okay, there again, his mic is silent. So he was on the air with us earlier, Dave, as he was coming back from the Bellwood Annis Invitational with about 60 different squads there. He had us on the thing that you use, on the Bluetooth in his car. So we did have him there for a second. So, Jeff, you may want to just call our line, 814-619-4286, 814-619-4286. It's Monday Night Sports Talk here on the airnetwork.net. Let's get into this real quick, hockey, because I know that Dave has a show coming up here around 8 o'clock, and he's going to have to leave in a little bit. But let's talk about what happened really essentially to the Penguins, Dave. I mean, let's not kind of look at the coaching situation, but look at the bare bones with Crosby, Malkin. I mean, they had so many injuries with Dupuis and Letang. And, I mean, what happened in this series against the Rangers?
Well, I'll tell you what, it is tough to replace a player like Chris Letang from that standpoint. I mean, he is so unique in what he brings. He's similar, except in size. I think he's much smaller in stature than Paul Coffey was. But he is that Paul Coffey kind of defenseman where you rely on him on both sides of the puck. Yeah. And really, there's nobody at this point on that team that can step up and take that role. There are guys in development that have the potential. I don't know what if Oling Mata's going to be able to come up again next year, if he's going to be able to play. I know he's there. I saw on their final home game that he came out at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But that is something that is you have him. I think Dumoulin is the type of player that is going to be able to do that. But once again, Chris needs the time to mature a little bit. But I see in him that type of player with a little bit more size than what Letang has. So those are tough. I don't think Crosby, after Pascal Dupuis became, there were some times there when they looked like they joked. But I'll tell you what, it is amazing to me that there have been times in the past when either Kunitz or Dupuis were out, and his line was okay. And then as soon as those missing pieces came back, whether it was Dupuis or Kunitz, that line's just, honest to goodness, those guys are in each other's heads to the point where they just anticipate so well. Now, that being said, I think there was, we'll leave the coaching staff aside. I think that Sidney Crosby needed to be a better leader for the team than what he was. I said this in one of the previous shows.
Yes.
The C on your sweater doesn't mean you're cool, and it's not for your last name Crosby. That means you're the leader of that team in whatever way you need to do that. Now, I say that without being at practice. I say that without being in the locker room. But there is this leadership thing, and, I don't know. I can't imagine Sidney not being enthusiastic or not, but I'll tell you what, maybe he wasn't. Maybe I felt too, Greg, that ever since he had the mumps, and he never regained. People could argue with me, well, he was still there and he was fast and yada yada. He was not, to me, the same player after the mumps that he was before. I think it's sacked him. It was in the middle of the season, and you don't have that kind of time for your body to recoup and rebuild.
Right.
Yeah, you can come back. The mumps are gone, but it does take a strain on you, for sure.
Well, let's face it, guys, with all the injuries the Penguins had, plus the mumps, and then, really losing some guys who could have helped them, like Dupuis and Ali Mata and Letang, they just obviously faltered at the wrong time of the season. Where do you see, Jimmy, the Rangers going in this series that's coming up with them, and how deep can the Rangers go in this championship series?
They can go as far as Henry Lundqvist can carry them.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's if Lundqvist has a bad series, then no. But if Lundqvist is lights out, then they can go the whole way to the Stanley Cup, just like they did the year ago.
Yeah, exactly. Jeff, are you back on the line with us yet? I'm not hearing Jeff. Hey, Dave, let me ask you. Fleury did a half-decent job, and Lundqvist, obviously, man, the guy battles every night. But having said that, do you think Fleury was not getting the help on defense that he obviously needed, and that was one of the downfalls? I didn't see guys getting back fast enough, man.
Well, the biggest letdown I think that the team had when it came to Marc-Andre Fleury was, and you have this all the time, when the opposition is spending so much time in your zone, there's a lot of confusion that develops. And that's where the big problem was as far as that goes, because a lot of the goals that were scored down low, as they say, were scored because there was this mass confusion. And one of the worst things that can happen to a goalie, and I don't care who they are, I mean, all of them have outstanding side-to-side skills, but when the play is in that deep on top of you, and your defenseman, so many times I saw defensemen either being stacked on one side of the ice down low or being caught totally off guard by someone coming down more often the right side than any other side as far as the Penguins defense goes.
Yeah.
And then you just had those mad scrambles right in front of Fleury. And I'll tell you what, you get into those mad scrambles and that's going to result in a goal. I can guarantee you most of the time, there's going to be those times when the goalie makes some amazing saves, but you really need to be a lot more organized and less chaotic at the netminder's position. So I do give the defense a little bit of a pull on there. Rob Scuderi, for as old as he is, he kind of amazed me. I mean, I thought he had a pretty good season this year. A number of people said, well, Scuderi's too old. There are times when he looks slow, but there are times, you talk about a guy that, as they say, gives up his body to help his goaltender. Man, does he do that a lot.
Hey, it's Monday Night Sports Talk here on the AirNetwork.net. Greg Banks in the studio. Jimmy Ty live from Johnstown. Dave Shannon, I assume you're in Altoona. It sounds like you're speaking through a barrel. Are you in Erie, or where are you?
No, I'm at home with my usual set of equipment. Maybe I had that one thing turned up a little bit too much. How about that?
Yeah,
anyway.
sounds like you're talking through a external speaker, like on your laptop or something. Jeff Speck, are you with us? Monday Night Sports Talk. You can give us a call, 814-619-4286. Again, 814-619-4286. Hey, let me ask you, Jimmy, did you find yourself watching games, maybe like Dave, at least I did, where you kept saying, shoot the puck, shoot the puck, shoot the puck? I mean,
the funny thing was I had Lucy last week, and And my daughter Lucy, she's a huge hockey fan. She loves the Penguins.
Right.
That she knows them as the good guys and bad guys. First off, and Lucy would just jump up and down and literally run to the TV and say, "Shoot the puck! Shoot the puck! No fighting! You're going to the timeout box.
Well, that's
going to the
good.
timeout box, and don't do that. That guy's a bad guy." So. Yeah, I didn't catch myself doing it, but I saw my daughter do it a lot of times.
Yeah, I caught myself doing it quite a bit, Dave, because I don't know. It seemed like the Rangers, every time they had the ability to get somewhere close, man, they were shooting the puck. And I think, matter of fact, that even the Tale even told the story where there were shots on goal, some of those games, that doubled the amount of shots on goal for the Penguins. And I don't know, but because I don't know hockey that well, but it seems to me like if you have a pretty good shot, you take it.
Oh,
am I wrong or what?
Well, and it depends on what. I don't know if you saw the little promo that Root Sports and I did not actually watch the episode where they went over this, but the promo they put together was Rick Tocchet working with Evgeny Malkin.
I saw that, yeah.
And what was he saying to him, Craig? Pass, 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 pass.
Yeah,
shoot.
yeah.
And it was like, well, I guess I'm kind of getting an idea where the passing. There's an instinct there where you have to just say, I'm going to go ahead and take the shot. And they seem to me to be a better team. I think there was a reluctance at times by the coaching staff to have them take too many shots because they didn't like the way they handled, let's say the goalie had a rebound that came out and the other team had a big breakout because that can happen to you.
Exactly.
And I think there was a reluctance on the coaching staff's part to say, you know what, it's okay. It's okay, just take the shots because our defense is going to be able to stop the puck. And once again, as you brought up, Greg, maybe this goes back to the fact that you have a Chris Letang, such an important part of the defense, not available to you. Because two things, he cannot, there's a lot of guys that don't have his speed that can either catch up with the puck or catch up with a guy that gets by him.
Yeah. Hey, well, listen, they're out playing golf tonight. We understand some of the Penguins. Jeff, are you back with us yet? Because I just added him to the group chat here. Jimmy Ty, go ahead. You were going to say something, Jim?
I have a question for Dave.
What's that?
Yeah.
Have you voted yet for Hockeyville?
Oh, that's right. Hockeyville, Johnstown.
I have to do that. I will do that after the other round. How long do I have to do that?
I think, what do you have, Jimmy, till Thursday or something?
Tomorrow. Well, to Wednesday.
Till Wednesday at midnight. Okay.
Yeah, Monday night, Tuesday night, and then Wednesday. And for you to know the vote, you can either log online at www.crafthockeyville.com.
Right.
And, of course, pick the Cambria County War Memorial here in good old Johnstown.
Amen.
Or you can place your vote at, just text Cambria at 35350 star, and you can vote, or you can call the toll-free number 1-855-255-5975, and you can vote up to 50 times per method.
That's right. So you can text 50 times, you can call 50 times, and you can go online 50 times, right?
Yeah, so, Dave, you got to vote.
Yeah.
I will.
I'll
tell you what, I think
Johnstown wins. If Johnstown wins,
right,
we could have the reason why everybody's so excited is, yes, we're going to get updates on the War Memorial Arena, but we will also host a preseason NHL game. And just think of it, Sidney Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Murray, all coming to Johnstown.
Hey, Jimmy, wouldn't it even be cooler yet if they could do that preseason game between the Flyers and the Penguins? That place will be rocking, man.
It would have to be the War Memorial doors open up to get tickets.
Yeah.
I went down for the circus with my daughter to get tickets. Them doors open up at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
You're going to have people outside the night before. It's going to be like Black Friday.
Well, I have the feeling, Dave and Jimmy, and also Jeff, if you're listening in, Johnstown's going to be triumphant in this. Not that we're going against a smaller town like Decatur, Illinois, or wherever it is, but the reality is that War Memorial has so much heritage, from the Johnstown Jets to the Johnstown Chiefs to Slapshot, even today to the Tomahawks. And I'm going to tell you what, Jimmy, even if they've already gotten $75,000 getting into this round against Decatur, and they will get another $75,000, so that's $150,000 for the upgrades. Dave, I'm going to tell you what, they're going to need a lot more than $150,000 to fix up that arena. I'm serious, but at least it helps.
I hope it doesn't get spent just on superficial things, because there are serious problems.
Oh, there's some serious ice problems there. They
sewer problems.
Oh, yeah, sewer problems, too. So
you got both of those things have to be taken care of. It's not the pretty stuff that everybody sees.
Yeah.
But, it's just one of those things, and it has to be taken. If it's going to continue to survive as a hockey facility, then that's what's needed. And, it's a start. Hopefully it's enough to get the people and the powers that be to go further and make the rest of the updates and upgrades that need made, not necessarily the pretty variety, but of the functional variety.
Hey, and you know what they could do with that $150? They could take that and float a loan or a grant and get maybe $1.2 million or $1.5 million in renovations, and that would be helpful. But hey, I'll be listening and watching NBC coming up on Saturday during the second period, I believe, usually is when they announce the winner and make sure that Johnstown gets to be the champion or the finalist on Saturday. Get those votes in before Wednesday at midnight. And, of course, as Jimmy said, there are 3 ways you can do that: text, call, or go online. And, of course, vote for Johnstown and the Cambria County War Memorial in Kraft Hockeyville, USA.
I'm glad you brought that up, Jimmy. That's
it is. Well, I appreciate it, too.
Greg and I used to cover high school hockey down there whenever we worked at
Game of the Week.
For Game of the Week. And we would have to run wiring through that War Memorial. The things that, I would go down there as
there
a
are
fan
dead people
to watch
there,
the
Jimmy.
game.
There are,
I would go down there to watch the game.
there are people from the 77 flood still there, Dave.
No. But to go in the nooks and crannies of the War Memorial, it was disgusting.
Hey, listen, you didn't have to crawl under places because you weren't the smallest. The smallest guy always got that job.
And guess who? On top of the press box.
Okay, and I was on top of the press box running cable too. But remember, who used to have to kind of crawl underneath the Point Stadium to run cable in those small places? Right. Yeah, well, remember that. Right. All right. I could use the $75,000, thank you, but hey, I won't. Hey, Dave, I know you got to leave pretty soon. What's happening with the Erie Explosion these days?
Well, a good win for them on Saturday night. Not a league contest, not in the PIFL, but nonetheless a good contest.
Yeah.
As they come away with a 50-26 victory over ASI. That's All Stars Incorporated is what that's short for.
That's a conglomeration of the old Harrisburg Stampede and somebody else, right?
Well, there are some Stampede, presence being felt there on the ASI Panthers. Team-wise and player-wise, there's a combination. Some of it is there are a few of the Stampede guys that moved over. And then also, it is a farm team for the Philadelphia Arena Football League.
Oh, okay, for the Soul, yeah.
Yeah. So you've got that aspect of it too. So it was a good win. I'll tell you what, I was very impressed. Now they came to Erie last year and played the Explosion in a similar type situation, and the Explosion had a much easier game. This tested the Explosion quite a bit, and the big turnaround for them. Coach had talked about it. We had our coaches show. That's why I cut out on Monday Night Sports Talk.
Right.
Coach brought it up. No turnovers. Well, John D'Angelo, single-handedly, now some of that was because John was in the right place at the right time, tipped passes and deflections and what have you. But John D'Angelo had 4 turnovers.
Wow, okay.
The linebacker. Coach said after the game that he had moved him from the Mac to the Jack position.
Yeah.
As first the linebackers go. And that put him in a position to really excel. And there is one guy, goodness gracious, I am surprised he's not up at a higher level of football. Maybe the only thing that's a downfall to him is his size as far as linebacker goes. But his size as far as linebacker goes for an arena situation is just fine, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's a big turning point. 4 turnovers. The quarterback, I think Mason Espinoza has learned a lot over the past couple of weeks. They wanted to impress upon him that there are certain situations where you just have to cut your losses and throw it into the stands. He did that several times. Prior to this, he was in a situation. Now, I'm not saying just, carelessly throw it. There needs to be something that resembles a receiver. Same thing as intentional grounding in the outdoor game. Yeah. But he was able to do that and do it well on Saturday. So big pluses for them on Saturday night against ASI.
Hey, best of luck to the Erie Explosion. By the way, Dave, your show comes up in 5 minutes with the coach for an hour from 8 until 9. Where can we find that show again?
That is at KeystoneSports.net. Another way to get there is to go to the Erie Explosion website, and it has a game day link in the upper right corner. You can click on that. You'll get there as well.
Okay. So that's coming up in the next 5 minutes on the Erie Explosion website, folks. Go to it. Check out our own Dave Shannon. Dave, hold on the line a second. We'll take a break and, of course, wrap things up with Jimmy Ty, Jeff Speck, and yours truly, Greg Banks, here on the AirNetwork.net. Stick around.
Restore the luster of your home or business now by calling Ted's Painting and Drywall at 814-641-0479. Ted's Painting and Drywall does quality exterior and interior painting, staining, faux finishing, trim work, and wall repair. Plus, Ted's Painting and Drywall can remove wallpaper and finish drywall for one room or the whole house. Ted's Painting and Drywall, a licensed contractor offering a 20% discount to seniors and 35% discount to churches. Book your work now at Ted's Painting and Drywall. Call 641-0479.
Steiner, 4 miles east of Huntington on Route 22, is keeping it fresh daily with great food at a great value for family and friends in a fun atmosphere. From their fresh-cut French fries, home-baked pies, and their home-style cooking, Top Steiner is the #1 destination for many hungry appetites. Stop by Top Steiner for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and great service 7 days a week. Top Steiner, east of Huntington on Route 22 for excellent service and delicious home cooking at a great value every day.
You are a waste. A loser. Everyone hates you. Why don't you just stay in your car and keep driving? I'm serious. Drive until you run out of gas, then get out of your car and walk until you find someone who doesn't think you're dumber than bricks. Could take a while, but at least all that walking might burn a couple of calories.
You may not witness bullying like this every day. Your kids do. They want to help, but they don't know how. Visit StopBullying.gov to learn safe, simple ways your child can help stop bullying. Be more than a bystander at StopBullying.gov. A message from the
I'm coming home. What does sacrifice mean to you? Is it giving up your time and energy to keep America safe? Is it putting yourself in harm's way to protect our nation's way of life? No? Then maybe it's giving up that third latte to take care of the heroes that do.
The VFW makes it easy to help. Just call 1-855-9-HELP-VET. That's 855-9-HELP-VET.
The VFW. No one does more for veterans.
This message brought to you by the Huntington VFW, Post 1754 on Penn Street.
Confessions of a Potentially Perfect Parent, brought to you by AdoptUsKids.org.
Okay, here goes. I know more about cooking dinner for a party of 12 than I do about packing a lunch for a 12-year-old. I know kids like things like PB&J, pigs in a blanket. Oh, and fish sticks. They do love fish sticks. Fillets I get, but sticks? What part of the fish does the stick come from? I know I can read a cookbook that'll tell me how to make a red wine reduction, but where are the cookbooks that can teach me how to cut the crusts off bologna sandwiches? Oh, maybe we can compromise on mac and cheese. Can you make that with brie? Everybody likes brie, right?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to push your food around their plate. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit AdoptUsKids.org for more information. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
Well, it's a wild and woolly Monday night, the final edition of Monday Night Sports Talk here on the AirNetwork.net. As we get ready to wrap things up, it was, technically it was a challenging show. We had Jeff Speck earlier via his car phone, and then he got into his studio, and we lost him altogether. But thank you to Jeff Speck for being on tonight with us. Also, Dave Shannon. Jimmy Ty, I wanted to ask you, Cleveland Cavaliers looked awesome in that first series they had, but looks like Kevin Love is injured and expect at least maybe miss 2 weeks. Can the Cavaliers still win this whole thing without him?
Yes, they can. They have the depth to win it with the players they have on their bench right now with the Cavaliers. But it looks like Kevin Love will miss the conference semifinals.
Yeah.
The whole thing against, which it looks like it will be the Chicago Bulls that they will be playing.
Yeah, it looks like that. And you know, what's his name is looking really good out in Chicago, man. Rose is back. Derrick Rose, he's back again. So, I mean, he could be a challenge for LeBron and Kyrie Irving and the rest of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm just saying that. Hey, Jeff, if you're on the line, wanted to ask you and Jimmy, who you guys taking in that Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao fight coming up on Saturday night, Jimmy? Who you taking in that fight?
Money Mayweather, baby.
Yeah, Money Mayweather.
I'll want to predict it right now
Okay.
here on Air Network, and then we can come back a year in September.
In
You can
September.
tell me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Floyd Mayweather will win the fight.
Oh, you think it's going to be a TKO? It's going to be a knockout or just decision?
It will be a knockout. It will
Yeah.
be a knockout in the third round.
Well, you know, the chickens at the other. Hey, I just wanted to make mention the tickets. Some of the cheap seats are still available. $4,500.
Let's go, Greg. Need you to Vegas.
Hell, man, I wish I had $4,500. I would put this sewer in a minute. Hey, but anyhow, because you know everybody in Johnstown has to hook into that sewer system. But having said that, would you at least get pay-per-view, Jimmy? Because I think it's going for like $100.
Nah, I'll just watch it. I'll just watch the highlights on ESPN.
Yeah, and I'll watch the rerun on Showtime or HBO because, you know, sooner or later it's coming on.
But why should I spend that much money when Mayweather's going to win in 3 rounds and with the knockout?
Yeah, let him make all the money, huh? He's making enough as it is, man. Hey, Jimmy Ty in Johnstown, thank you, man. Jeff Speck, thank you, buddy, for being on our final edition until September of Monday Night Sports Talk. We'll do it again. Hey, just watch our website page for more exciting news coming your way on the airnetwork.net. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here in September. Have a great summer, and so long, folks.